South Florida comes to Channel 6. Well, we hope you're enjoying this preseason action. 6 plays, 65 yards. Hampton going in from 14 out. There's the scoring drive for you.
You know, Lorenzo Hampton, Jay, ran the ball into the end zone, but you got to give a lot of credit to Stratford. A couple of nice runs, a couple of nice catches. Never have enough good running backs.
Kick comes down to Ricky Porter, and he's going to down it as Fuad Rebez had a good foot in that one. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. We update one thing we said, 6 plays, 65 yards. It was 8 plays on that last drive for 65 yards. Hampton scoring his second touchdown from 14 yards out. 2:57 left to play in this first half, and the Bills now have Rob Riddick and Ronnie Harmon, number 40 and 33, in the backfield with Jim Kelly, and he's coming right out of the shotgun and going to the 2-minute drill. Throws to the far side, complete. That's Chris Burkett. Burkett from Jackson State, a third-year man. And it's a first down at the 32-yard line, a pickup of about 13 on the play. 2.5 to play. Kelly throws again, and it's complete to Ronnie Harmon. That's Harmon's 8th catch of the preseason. Don McNeil, number 28, in for the tackle for the Dolphins. Kelly trying to operate in these final minutes and see if he can't get something on the board for the Bills. He's in trouble in the grasp, and down he goes. And it's John Boza. Oh boy, and they love it here. Boza, who held out until earlier this week, congratulated there by Fry. Boza does it big right here.
Well, the Dolphins
first charge timeout,
and Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator, hope that this is just the start of a lot of big things to come as he's fighting against Richer, 51, hand fighting. Kelly tries to get out. You've seen things the last couple of weeks where Boza, working out at that gym, had biceps about as big as my thighs. He wasn't going to let Kelly get out of the grasp like he did a little bit earlier.
He's made that Apollo Gym up in Fort Lauderdale quite a place. Speaking of places, I want to say again what a joy it is to see this stadium, and what a job Joe Robbie has done building this place, along with the magnificent Calder Racetrack, which is just to the north of here. This is a sight to behold, these great facilities here. An American Bandstand will be a sight to behold, starring Dick Clark, coming to Channel 6 this September. All new shows and all new music, all new dancers, but the same great fun. Look for it this September on Channel 6. Well, Dick Clark still going strong, and so is Don Shula and the Miami Dolphins, hopefully, for the '87 season. Although I think this is one of the most challenging years that Coach Shula has ever faced.
Well, the last time he finished 8-8 with the Dolphins, he came back with a big winning year and got in the playoffs, and I expect him to do the same thing.
3rd and 16 after the sack. Kelly's got a lot of time, throws, and it is incomplete. The pass was intended for Trumaine Johnson, number 46, thrown a little bit too high. The 2-minute warning given here at Joe Robbie Stadium. More action right after this. John Kidd is set to do the punting. 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Miami 17, Buffalo 7. Scott Schwade's downfield to receive the punt. Kidd 4 punts for a 41-yard average. Dwight Stevenson being taken to the locker room, and the report is the right arch has been strained. It is hoped, as we reported to you earlier, that it is not serious, but
He obviously,
as Bob mentioned,
can't walk in, so
yeah.
it's an arch is a very difficult thing to have, Jay, because it's very tough to walk and run. I mean, all your weight is on that foot.
Kidd gets it away. Schwade's coming up at the 33. Gets to the 40. Cuts it and is out of bounds right at about the 39-yard line as he had to take a step backwards trying to cut the corner. Jamie Mueller did a good job, the running back, 39 on the specialty unit to make the tackle. 39-yard punt and a 5-yard return. So still some time for the Dolphins to check out their 2-minute offense. Let's check in right now with Walt Gray.
You talked a little bit earlier, Jay, about some of the guys coming down with a little bit of an illness at training camp. Rick Graff behind me wants to play, but his stomach. I said, Rick, how do you feel? He goes, but he's a rookie. He has to be in there. Back to you.
Rick Graff, all Big Ten at Wisconsin. His play improved dramatically in Denver, and he looked very good, very aggressive last week. They call him Thunder.
Thunder. There's no question that he's going to make this ball club, so Thunder has got a spot. But Tom Brown, who is a rookie and also injured, is not playing, and it may work against him.
Tony Nathan, close to the first down, near the 48-yard line, taking the handoff. Mark Kelso, 38 on the tackle. They've had a lot of success with this play tonight.
Yes, they have. It's just a draw trap, and Nathan is just used like Nat Moore. They're in the same mold. They're going to use him in passing situations. Nathan can do some of the running, but not the heavy-duty running. And they don't need him when they've got guys like Hampton and this year Stratford. It's a young man's game, Jay.
There's no doubt about that, Mr. Greasy.
This is Tony's 9th year in the league out of Alabama. And the things that he can do are valuable to him, but he cannot carry the heavy-duty load of running on first and second down.
Nathan and Bennett, both 9-year veterans. Got the first down. Jaworski hit, but got it away, and it is complete to the 47-yard line. Nat Moore. Nat with 510 career catches, 74 touchdowns. Nate Odom's 37 and Lawrence Johnson 48 on the tackle. From the shotgun, Jaworski again. The pass thrown a little bit behind Tony Nathan. Clock stopped with 1:02 left to play in this first half. Dolphins lead at 17-7. There's the official time. Don Shula's got a marvelous record in preseason over the years. 91, 31, and 4 overall with Miami. 59, 27, and 3.
And all those games, of course, were in the Orange Bowl, and he made a comment about moving over here. Get to it in a minute.
And complete to Mark Duper. Duper's got the first down at about the 41-yard line, hit by Lawrence Johnson, number 48, 6-yard pickup. Want to make that comment? We got a timeout call.
Well, he just commented on the Orange Bowl and how good it was for the Dolphins and how much they had a winning streak going over there and a winning percentage. Coming over here, he said the first time we played against Chicago, he says it was really like playing in a visiting field because you didn't feel like you had the home field advantage. Certainly had the fans, but I think it's going to develop over a matter of time. You're used to coming to the locker rooms, used to coming to the field, and I think it will develop in time. Good hit there. It's a possession. Again, you don't want to throw those types of patterns when you're running a 2-minute drill. You're looking downfield, but that's a good outlet if everything deep is covered.
There's one of the 2 new scoreboards here. Oh, they're magnificent.
They really are,
we've
Jay.
come a long way, haven't we?
This whole complex up here, as you mentioned, with Calder Race Course and then over here with the Joe Robbie Stadium and the Dolphins, it's just outstanding.
And they're going to get some roads and parking to go with it all here.
Well, you can't everything at once.
It's really marvelous. Jaworski going long downfield. Oh, no. At the 11-yard line. The pass over there on the far sideline intended for Nat Moore, and he had a hand on it, and for a moment looked like he might hold on. Penalty marker down. Derek Burrows, 29, had the coverage. We get word that Hugh Green has a sore knee.
Roughing the passer, number 78, defense, First down.
Bruce Smith, a former AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, 78, roughing the passer penalty. He'll put the ball at the 25-yard line. Green, of course, coming back off an injury, and now with a sore knee, and the trainers indicate that they'll update us. There's Bruce Smith. As Bob told you, 15 sacks last season. He played for Virginia Tech.
#1 draft choice in the whole league. And the thing that concerns you about Hugh Green is the first thing you wonder, is it the same knee that he had operation on last year? And of course, if it is or if it isn't, how serious is the injury?
4 penalties for Buffalo, 54 yards. It didn't work that time. Here's that handoff trap out of the eye, or out of the shotgun to Nathan, and this time they smelled it out. Fred Smerlas, number 66.
76,
76. He's one of the very best. Jaworski to the far sideline. Intended for Duper over there, and they were pretty close to connecting on that one. Again, good coverage by Derek Burrows. Burrows was on the all-rookie team and hasn't really done the job they expected. The Bills playing him, number 29 at left corner. He's been injured a good deal of the time. There's Marv Levy.
Last year at this time, Jay.
I'm going to mention one thing. Here's a guy, the only coach, Bob, who was ever a head man in the CFL, the USFL, and the NFL.
And last year, about this time, he and I were standing on this field before this game, discussing. He was a TV analyst for the Buffalo station. The game was going back to Buffalo. 4 games later, he was the head coach.
3rd down and 10. Penalty marker down. Jaworski throws. It's complete to Duper. Duper's down at the 12-yard line, but they may bring it back. Mark Kelso
Get a holding.
on the stop, and I think we're going to have a holding call, aren't we?
It's going to come back.
Yeah.
Holding number 74. Offense. 3rd down.
That's the rookie Mark Dennis out of Illinois, number 74. He and Bruce Smith were going at one another.
No question, he's got the toughest assignment. As you mentioned, the rookie 8th-round draft choice has played well for the Dolphins. May very well make this ball club, but he's got the toughest assignment tonight.
Well, and of course, it's compounded because Dellenbach is now having to play center.
From the right side. Smith is 78, does a little roll on him. Now he takes him down. Not bad for a rookie. I didn't think they taught that at Illinois.
Mike White will be thrilled that you didn't think that. 3 penalties against Miami for 35 yards. 16 seconds left for Jaworski and the Dolphins here in this first half. 3rd down and 20. See if they can get enough maybe to give Reves a shot. Jaworski going long. Overthrows Nat Moore.
Well, they had the wiry old veteran, Nat, 14 years in the NFL, going against the rookie, the 2nd-round draft choice from Wisconsin, Nate Odoms, and Nat just couldn't separate himself from Odoms, and Odoms did a nice job.
Well, Fuad Reves has kicked a 52-yard field goal. This one is going to be a 54-yard attempt
in the opposite direction.
And it's on the way, and it's good. Oh, Fuad Reves with a 52 and 54-yard field goal in this first half. Congratulations all around. Ron Jaworski was the man who held it, and those gals are enjoying it.
They sure are.
I'll tell you. With 4 seconds left to go in this first half, Fuad Reves shows his fancy footwork again.
And in case you're wondering, I mentioned it's in the opposite direction. There's really no appreciable wind blowing in either direction tonight, so he hit a 52-yarder going from left to right, and then a 54-yarder in the opposite direction. And one other thing, you noticed, and as you mentioned, Jay, that Jaworski was the holder. If there is, in fact, a true competition for the backup spot on the Dolphins, and if Strzok is the loser in that competition at quarterback, Jaworski can also hold, as you see right there. Jaworski says it's good. Fuad says, let me see if it's far enough. I know it's straight enough.
Another point, though, in Strzok's favor, if we can go back and forth here, is that he's the emergency punter if anything happens to Roby. Roby didn't punt all this week. tonight is the first time he's punted this week.
I think something stronger in Strock's favor is the fact that he's been right next to Shula.
Yeah, the input that he puts
for 14
forth.
years.
You're right there. This low kick comes down at the 5-yard line to Ricky Porter. Porter brings it out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Jim Jensen, the 3rd-and-a-half quarterback, if you want to call him that, made the tackle, and we come to the end of the first half. A 20-7 score on the board, Bob, as Coach Shula and the squad heads to the dressing room to talk things over at half. A couple of long field goals from Reveiz, a couple of fine touchdowns from Hampton, and 20-7 here at halftime, and more importantly, a pretty good defensive show for the Dolphins.
Well, Shula and his staff have got to be pleased by the effort by the Dolphins. As you say, they've scored 20 points offensively. Defensively, there have been 5 Buffalo punts and 1 touchdown, which started from the 32-yard line of the Dolphins, which came after that fumble by Stratford. So the Dolphins' offense has played well, defense has played well, and their special teams with Fuad Reveiz has certainly kicked the ball very well, as has Roby. So they're, Shula's got to be pretty pleased at halftime.
I think he's very pleased. In fact, I think things have been on an upbeat tempo ever since that second half in Denver. Up until that point, things were very, very dismal. Let's check in again. Down along the sidelines, Walt Gray.
Thanks, Jay. As you were saying, Dolphins have got to be pleased. Obviously, Fuad Reveiz has been taking a good dose of vitamins. Lorenzo Hampton looks like a fullback on both his touchdown runs. He ran over a couple of guys. The injury to Hugh Green is to the old knee, which is the bad news so far in the first half. Physicians are going to check on him, and they'll report back to us. So, some good news with the score, 20-7 Dolphins at the half. Some bad news, or maybe not. We'll check with Hugh Green a little bit later on. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after these messages.
Along with Bob Greasy and Walt Gray, Jay Randolph at Joe Robbie Stadium. 20-7 halftime. Miami has the lead, and we take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. Bob, here's that interference call, a 24-yard penalty that's helped set up that first touchdown.
Well, it's suicide to try and blitz Marino because you're not going to get to him, and what you do by blitzing is put your defensive backs one-on-one against the strength of Miami, and that was interference, and that set up the first touchdown.
And Lorenzo Hampton gets the first of 2 scores here in the first half from 1 yard out.
Over the top. He didn't have to get all the way on the top. Goes in running. And the Dolphins like to see touchdowns on the run.
The Dolphins did turn the ball over. This fumble led to the only Buffalo touchdown.
Swinging his arms as he goes through, and the ball comes out. Later on, he covered it up. This is
Stratford losing the football there.
Stratford and Duper with the 15-yard face mask penalty because it was a twist and a little rougher than normal.
Buffalo's touchdown came on a 25-yard touchdown to Greg Bell.
Don McNeil slipping down on the play, and that was set up by that fumble by Stratford.
And Hampton, 14 yards to cap an 8-play drive that went 65 yards right here.
And a nice block there by James Pruitt. Pruitt hasn't done a lot receiving in this game. He has up until this point because he's been the leading receiver for the Dolphins with 15 catches. But he had a nice block on that touchdown run, and I'm sure that the coaching staff is pleased to see that also.
It's not often, Bob, that you look at halftime statistics and see Miami with more rushing yardage than passing yardage.
Well, you went right to the key point, Jay, and I think that Shula and his offensive staff are delighted to see the rushing total at 107. That's not to say that they don't want to pass the football, but the imbalance in the past has been a problem, and I think they're going to be a much tougher offensive team and defensive team if they can control the ball on the ground. The other things there, the turnover, the one Miami turnover caused by the fumble of Stratford allowed Buffalo with good field position and get in for the touchdown.
So we get set to get it underway here in the second half. This stadium, when you get a chance to come and see it, seats just over 75,000. And there is not bad seat in the place. There's Marv Levy.
Marv's not a bad guy. I'll tell you, he's pretty well educated. He was a Phi Beta Kappa at Cole College.
Little Cole College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and then he got his master's degree at Harvard in English. And so
how many coaches in this league have their masters in English from Harvard?
I don't think you're going to find more than one. Scott Norwood will put it in play. Lorenzo Hampton and Tony Stratford are set deep as we get the second half from Joe Robbie Stadium. That's Stratford. Stratford coming out over the 20 and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Lorenzo Hampton with a good block on that play. 21-yard return. And number 25, Roland Mitchell, downfield to make the tackle. So the Dolphins get the football at their own 27-yard line. Ron Jaworski still at the quarterback spot. In case you joined us late, it was Dan Marino getting the call in the early going. He just played 2 series. Jaworski has gone from there. And Jaworski puts it up over the middle. Incomplete. Joel Williams, the rookie from Notre Dame, who caught 1 pass for 14 yards in preseason, couldn't hold on. Lawrence Johnson, 48, had the coverage from his strong safety spot.
Williams from the left side of your screen as Jaworski just drops it over. Should have had the catch. Williams is a rookie, as you mentioned. There's only 2 tight ends active on the roster, with Johnson having an arch problem. Same thing as Dwight Stevenson. You might think that Joel Williams has the team made, but you never know. They could always bring a tight end in from another ball club. So just because there's only 2 tight ends, I don't think Williams ought to be dropping footballs.
Jaworski on the run at the 30 and out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Derek Burrows running him out of bounds over there. Well, one thing that Don Shula likes as we get the 7-yard pickup there is the fact that this game is played on a Friday. He's going to have all weekend and a lot of time to get things ready for that opener at New England.
Well, there was no question that is why it's played on Fridays. We take a look at Jaworski. Couldn't see Davenport, number 30. Put the ball in your other hand, Ron, because you're going to get hit. Don't see many quarterbacks run with the ball in the left hand, but most all of the games this weekend, the last preseason weekend, are scheduled on Thursday or Friday to allow them to assess how they came out of the game, who played well, injuries, and then they can talk trade with other ball clubs.
3rd down and 4 from the 33. Jaworski throws. It's dropped by Nathan. Looked like Tony should have caught that one. He's a little upset with himself.
No question he short-armed that one. And I think the fact that we're seeing Jaworski, Jay, tells me that Shula knows what Strock can do, first of all.
Oh, sure.
And he is either going to let Jaworski have the time, or he's going to let him have the time to either play himself onto this squad, or he's going to showcase him around the league so he can maybe trade him and get something for him. And Jaworski just wants to play. He says, if not here, somewhere else. Somebody else will be watching.
Ron Pitts is set to receive the punt from Reggie Roby. Oh, this is a high flyer and a fair catch called for and taken in by Pitts at the 33-yard line. It's a 33-yard punt. I mentioned that Roby did not punt at all this week. He's had a bit of a hamstring problem. Second in the AFC last year with a 44.2 average and a 39.8 average on 14 punts coming in to this preseason action. Frank Wright, the 3rd-year man from Maryland, number 14, takes over at quarterback for the Buffalo Bills of Marv Levy. Walter Broughton, number 86, is in there at a wide receiver spot. Jamie Mueller is in the backfield, and that is Mueller. He's a rookie from Benedictine, and he's out over the 45, picks up the first down, 12 yards on the carry. Rick Graff, number 58, making the stop. Big hole in the middle there.
Well, it's just straight ahead blocking as number 96 for the Dolphins, the rookie linebacker Marshall. He's a free agent, actually. Was blocked very well by Richard. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. And
Mueller tries again. He gets over the 50 and into Dolphin territory, and they're going to put it back right on the midfield stripe. T.J. Turner, number 95, made the stop. Mueller is 6'1", 225, has averaged 5.4 per carry in preseason play. Number 95 there is T.J. Turner, the big pass rusher. Fry, 53, is now playing for Green at the right linebacker spot. And this is Rob Riddick. Riddick very, very close to a first down. It looks like he may have it as they unravel it there. John Boza, 97 on the tackle. It is a first down, a pickup of 6. Let's go to Walt Gray.
Jay, the deal on Hugh Green, I just talked to head trainer Bob Lundy. He said Hugh was only going to play a half anyway. They think it's sore, but he's being examined right now. So as soon as we know, we'll let you know.
We'll update you. Green having trouble with that same knee. Right, 28 of 60. 337 yards in the preseason. Fumble! And at the 43-yard line, the Bills hold on.
And Bosa, John Bosa from Boston College, the #1 draft choice, was right there, was looking away from the ball, didn't know the ball was right next to him. If he would have turned over, he could have had his first fumble recovery. He's taking another look. Bosa, 97.
And I think it'll be Kent Hull, the center, number 67, who came back up with it there.
Exactly.
Doug Better's into the lineup now. Here's a pass incomplete, as it was Bosa putting the pressure on, and he came very close to getting Frank Reich. Pass intended for Rob Riddick. Bosa playing on these base defensive units in the log yardage situations, looking very impressive as he was billed and drafted.
Well, he's been in there the second half, the start of the second half on the base defense. That's their normal 3-man defense. The thing that he has is aggressive enthusiasm and never quits. I mean, it's a young man's game, as we said, and he certainly is a young, strong man.
Out of the eye on 3rd and 9. Right, swings it out, ball batted, penalty markers go down. Was a fine play by Mark Brown, number 51, to tip the ball away. And now let's see what the call is. The pass was intended for Riddick, but deflected by Brown. It may be a holding call here against Buffalo. Referee Jerry Markbright.
Holding, number 59, offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
Mitch Farrat, the young man from Penn State that you talked about earlier. The penalty charge to him, it's declined, and punting time for John Kidd and the Buffalo Bills. Scott Schwades back in the middle downfield. Schwades, a number 2 draft choice. A very talented young man, smart performer. He looks like he has got the club made. This ball angled to the far sideline, knocked out of bounds on a superb play at about the 2-yard line by Mark Kelso, a safety, number 38 over there. There's Kelso, and didn't he make a fine play? When we come back, the Dolphins will start from their own 2-yard line. 11:42 left in the 3rd quarter. Kelso, look down on the field and see them attending to T.J. Turner along the sideline and working on his shoulder. They have taken his jersey off, and we'll try to update you on what that situation might be. Hardy and Williams, double tight end alignment down close here. And the handoff to Ron Davenport. He got just a yard. Eugene Marv, number 54, the inside linebacker. Darryl Talley, the right outside linebacker, 56, making the play.
Jay, let's back up a second and just put this game in perspective. We came in saying it was important that Marino get in and test his dislocated finger. He's passed the test. Bosa was another story. He seems to be playing all right. The other story that's developing are the injuries that the Dolphins are sustaining here in the first 2.5 quarters.
Stevenson, Green, and now Turner. This pitch comes back to Hampton. Hampton gets out over the 10 to the 11-yard line. Fighting for that needed yardage. He came up short of the first down. Roland Mitchell, number 25, on the tackle. Let's check in again with Walt Gray.
Okay, T.J. Turner behind me here getting the ice pack on his right shoulder. Trainer's taking care of him right now. He's got a jammed right shoulder, obviously out for the night, but he should be okay. Back to you.
Well, jammed is a lot better than separated.
Well, and a lot of times, too, Jay, in a preseason game, if they get nicked at all, they'll just yank them and not to put him in for any further damage that might be sustained. If it were a league game, they might go a little further.
3rd down and 1. Bennett goes in motion. The pitch back coming to Hampton. 1st down, fumbled the ball. Turnover. The Bills have it out at the 25-yard line. Jim Haslett, number 55. 2nd turnover of the game for the Dolphins. And it'll set up an excellent opportunity for Buffalo.
As sure as quarterbacks are going to throw passes and get some intercepted, running backs that are going to make big plays for you are also going to drop the football. You have to live with it. You don't like to see it. But Hampton has played so very well tonight that you're going to have to put up with some of the drops.
He has rushed for better than 50 yards. Miami has fumbled twice and lost both of them in this game. And it is 1st down at the 25-yard line for the Bills. They took advantage of an earlier turnover. Rob Riddick. Riddick gets about 2 yards as he tried to go right up the middle. They pile him up. David Fry leading the way, the free agent from Purdue. He's had a back problem. He was doubtful tonight. Boza, 97, also in there to make the play. Ball just shy of the 23-yard line. 9.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins leading 20-7. Frank Reich passes over the middle. It is complete. That's Reggie Bynum. Bynum is a rookie out of Oregon State, the all-time top receiver in Oregon State football history. Mike Smith, number 25, on the corner, making the stop, but it's a 1st down, an 11-yard pickup. And it's 1st down at the 13-yard line. 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Going wide to the left is Reggie Bynum, 47. Walter Broughton set to the right side for Frank Reich. Reich calls on Jamie Mueller, and boy, this big guy goes right in there. Mueller, 225 yards, and he can run the football, and it's a happy bunch of Bills who are back in this football game.
Well, Bynum is 225 pounds. Take a look at the hole that is open on the left side with Fry and Bosa on that side. Good blocking up front. Take another look from the defense's angle. Marshall, 96, is stuffed. And when you tackle him in the secondary around the goal line, you don't have much chance with a guy that big.
Kidd will hold, and Norwood will attempt the point after. They get it down after a high pass, and it is good. And with 8:46 left to play in the 3rd quarter, Miami's lead is cut to 20-14. Randolph along with Bob Greasy and Walt Gray. And Bob, I think Marv Levy has to be very happy that his offense, when given the opportunity, has converted twice after turnovers.
Well, that opportunity results in having the ball inside the Dolphins' 40-yard line. Both times they've taken it and scored. I don't think Buffalo has played particularly well. As you see, only 3 plays and 25 yards, but still, when the opportunity presents itself, they're getting it in the end zone.
Scott Norwood will kick off. Stratford and Hampton downfield, and that is Stratford. Stratford gets through to the 35, still on his feet, out to the 40. He's going to go all the way. This is a cakewalk, and there's not a flag on the field. Touchdown, Tony Stratford. Tony Stratford out of the pack, romping 83 yards.
Well, both men right there, Hampton and Stratford, have really carried the Dolphin offense. They have both fumbled, and both of those fumbles led to Buffalo touchdowns. But you put up with that because this is the type of thing that you get from a slashing style of runner. Big plays, big play for that rookie right there.
I keep calling him Tony Stratford. It's Troy Stratford. And I do apologize for that. Troy Stratford on the touchdown. There is Troy Stratford, who has electrified this big crowd at Joe Robbie Stadium. For the life of me, don't know why I want to call him Tony. I must have known a Tony Stratford sometime.
I think you knew a Tony Stratford as we take another look, or Tony Nathan maybe, both same position.
How's that?
Look around. Don't look at him. Now look for some blocks, some key blocks. 34, Bennett is shielding off a player. 29 there, Hobley gets the one that might have been a clip unless the man turned his back to him. And now it's just a foot race. This is God-given talent.
And he's got nothing but Dolphins behind him.
That's true.
Big play. Reves kicks off. A short kick this time comes to Riddick. Riddick's at the 20. Gets to the 25, the 27, up to the 30-yard line. Donovan Rose, number 26, made the stop. 17-yard return. Let's check in with Walt Gray.
Jay, we're going to get a look at Don Strock probably in the next offensive series. Of course, everyone's still talking about whether it'll be Strock or Jaworski, but you got to figure it's Strock's job to lose. Jaworski really would have to beat Strock out, so get an opportunity to see the veteran, as you would say, Jay.
Well, and certainly Jaworski is a veteran, too.
Strock is better at getting on camera. Did you see where he positioned himself to warm up? He saw where Walt was, and man, I'll tell you, Strock is something else.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Reich uses play action, throws over the middle, wide open. That's Walter Broughton. Broughton all the way down to the 31-yard line. Broughton, who played at Jacksonville, a 40-yard pass on the play. Don McNeil made the stop.
Watch the linebackers if you can see him. 58 is Graff. See how he covers his man to man? Well, the inside linebackers were doing the same thing. If it were a zone, then McNeil would have had some help, but McNeil had to follow him all the way across the field. And if you can run that play action and catch him in man to man, you got a good play.
They've had a lot of success throwing in that zone over there tonight. Broughton goes in motion. The pitch back comes to Riddick. Riddick got inside the 29 to about the 28-yard line. Rick Graff. Graff.
Tackle by 96.
58. David Marshall, 96, also in there. Marshall, last 2 years played in Canada with Toronto. In 84, he was with the Cleveland Browns out of Eastern Michigan. 2nd down and 7. Ball at the 28-yard line. 7.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. Not much there for Jamie Mueller this time. Number 54, Larry Kolick. Rick Graff, 58, also helps out on the stop. Word on the fine center of the Dolphins, Dwight Stevenson, as we watch the isolate there on Betters, and I know you want to make a comment about that. Let's tell you, though, that Stevenson's sprained right arch is not considered serious. Hugh Green's sprained right knee will be examined and is being examined, and we'll update you as soon as the doctors let us know. 3rd down and 6. From the shotgun, Frank Reich throws to the near sideline and way over the head of the intended receiver, Greg Bell.
Well, Jay, you talked about Stevenson's arch not being not considered serious.
That's the report we get. Of course,
the report that we have.
You know that more will be known tomorrow.
Well,
probably.
It's a very tough injury. Even if you have a slight sprain or strain in the arch area, number one, it's tough to play with, and number two, it's tough to be healed because you want to keep practicing and playing. And if you do, you're going to continue to hurt the injury. It's very tough to come back from an arch injury.
Scott Norwood from 44 yards out attempting the field goal. John Kidd holding. The kick is good. A 44-yard field goal with 6:41 left in the third quarter. Miami 27 and Buffalo 17. The Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills in the final preseason action. 5 plays, 43 yards. Norwood's 44-yard field goal. That's his first field goal of the preseason. 27-17. The Dolphins lead it. 6:41 to play in the third quarter. Lorenzo Hampton and Troy Stratford are deep.
There's Walt Corey, Jay. He's a defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Came over this year from Kansas City. He's a former University of Miami student and assistant coach. One of a few Buffalo players and coaches that have some ties to the University of Miami. Of course, Jim Kelly was an All-American quarterback there, as we mentioned. And Rodney Bellinger was just released by the Buffalo Bills this week. He was a defensive back with the Hurricanes.
Norwood kicking off. Lorenzo Hampton at the 20. Breaks out at the 25 momentarily and then is halted. He got to the 26-yard line. The man that made the stop is James Seawright, number 52, a linebacker, 22-yard return. Well, you mentioned Walt Corey, Bob, and of course Marv Levy is expected to throw a little more. I guess you would when you have Jim Kelly. And he's brought Ted Marcia-Broda on his staff. He has him on tap to do some tutoring of Kelly, and of course, you're familiar with Marcia-Broda and his talents.
Well, he was a former coach of the Baltimore Colts. He worked with Burt Jones. He's a quarterback coach. And then he also brought in Ted Tollner, the former coach at University of Southern California, to work with the wide receivers, as we see the old man fumbling the first snap.
And Strock fell on it. A loss of about a yard. The old man is really only 36.
14 years in the league. When he and Nat Moore get in there, I tell you, it's like now this is what happened when Marino dislocated his finger. It wasn't when he dove for the ball. It was when the ball came up from the center. He had closed his hands just a little bit, and then it was dislocated.
There's Stevenson coming back on crutches.
Well, you hate to see that.
Lorenzo Hampton spinning out to the 29-yard line. Hampton stopped by Roland Mitchell, number 25. Ken Jolly, number 93, the left linebacker, also helping out. It's going to be third down and about 7.
Not only does having Stevenson injured, you lose an all-pro center from the last 5 or 6 years, but it also causes the offensive line to be jumbled around even further, because Dellenbach, the left tackle, then moves to center, a position he's unfamiliar with, and then you have to bring in a new tackle at the left tackle spot, and that's a rookie in the kid Dennis.
You saw Strock's statistics there. Here's the throw, and it's complete. First down to Mark Duper at the 40-yard line, and Strock did a good job of getting that away. Ron Pitts, number 27, on the tackle, an 11-yard pickup.
Strock is very intelligent. He knows what he wants to get done. He looks away. He looked down the middle before he threw to the right. And I think, Jay, he's been in a situation for the last 7 or 8 years where he's had no competition. He's always had his spot. He's come in late. I think this year, for the first time, I think he feels a little pressure from Jaworski.
And he's responding. Jaworski was 6 out of 13 for 45 yards. Again, a little problem on the snap, but he gets it to Hampton, and Hampton is pulled out of bounds at the 44-yard line by Eugene Marr, 54, with help from number 27, Ron Pitts. Well, number 67, you see coming back there, is Chris Conlon, a very quick youngster, a rookie from Penn State.
When you wear a number in the 20s, you don't want to argue with the guy with a number in the 50s, especially when he outweighs you by about 60 pounds. And Marv got a good hit on Hampton, and a running back, you never want a linebacker to get a good shot at you. O.J. Simpson was that way. He never took a tough hit. Hampton's taken a couple in the last 4 or 5 plays.
Duper's caught 2 passes for 18 yards. On second down, over the middle, wide open. That is Freddie Banks wearing number 1 out of Little Liberty. You remember, Bob, he impressed a lot of people back in May at the minicamp, and he's a free agent, originally drafted by Cleveland back in '85.
Just a slant. Now watch what he does. He catches and makes the safety miss. That is a big play by Banks right there, and one of the reasons why Shula said the wide receiver spot will be one of the areas that'll be tough to make a decision on. They have 6 in camp right now. They probably won't keep more than 5.
16-yard pickup and a first down. Davenport down the sideline. Out of bounds as he got to the 25-yard line. Ron Pitts knocked him out over there, a pickup of 15, and we've got an end zone look.
Watch the block by Hampton on the left side right here. You saw the run by Davenport, but the block by Hampton really sprung him. I'll tell you, Jay, these backs are blocking very well for each other. Bennett has thrown a few good blocks, and both Stratford and Hampton have thrown some key blocks to spring the fullbacks.
Been a couple of turnovers off the running game, but overall, the Dolphin running game has been extremely sharp. Over the middle, the tight end, Hardy, touchdown! Don Strock and Bruce Hardy combined for the score with 2:44 remaining third quarter. 25-yarder.
Watch Strock now. He's going to look to his left, and then throws to his right. He knew where Hardy would be, in between the zone, the area where the defensive men were. Hardy knows when he's open, gets there at the right time. 10 years in the league, Strock 14. They're roommates. They should know each other pretty well.
Claude Reves kicks the point after. The Dolphins increase the lead to 34-17 here late in the third quarter.
Now watch Strock as he looks this way. He's going to look this way and then looks here and then throws the other way. That's to look off the weak safety. The weak safety was over number 27. That was the weak safety. That was Pitts. And that allowed Bruce Hardy enough time to get open, and Strock laid it on the line.
Bob, we saw Dwight Stevenson, the 5-time Pro Bowler, a few moments ago, hobble out on the crutches. But the prognosis is very, very good, apparently. The doctors, after checking him out, they've got him on the crutches to keep him off the bruise of the strained arch. But every indication is that he'll be ready for the opener.
Well, that's what they say right now. But my history with arches is, I mean, I'm not very optimistic. Of course, I'm a pessimist anyway. What the heck?
Thank you, Doctor. All right.
Yeah, Dr. Greasy is right.
Dr. Greasy, all right.
You can see the problem that Strock was having with Dellenbach, the backup. Yep. He didn't get the snap cleanly on 2 different plays.
Reves kickoff. Coming down to Rob Riddick. He's at the 15. Riddick in trouble down at the 16-yard line. Good coverage by Lippert Hobley on that specialty unit, number 28. Hobley. Hobley. The scoring drive, 74 yards and 7 plays. Strock to Hardy. Strock, the quarterback, to a fellow who played quarterback in college. Hardy was a quarterback when he started at Arizona State.
And was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and he used to remind us of that all the time.
I get word that Joe Williams was badly shaken up, took a blow to the head, and get a further report on him a little later on. Wright throwing on the run to Jamie Mueller. Mueller over the 25, out to the 27, 28-yard line. Don McNeil, number 28, and also Donovan Rose, number 26, there on the tackle. A pickup of just about 10. In fact, it is 10. It's a first down. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the third period.
Play action holds the linebackers a little bit, and he just dumps it off. Oliver Dottie, the defensive coordinator, has got to be pretty pleased with the effort from that defensive unit here so far this evening.
Rob Riddick to the 34-yard line. Minute and 45 to play in the third period. Tackle to David Marshall. Marshall 6'2", second-year man from Eastern Michigan. And now we've got Mark Trainowitz, number 62, the former All-American from Nebraska, in there at center, replacing Kent Hull. Wolford, Richard, Trainowitz, Farrat, and Devlin on the front line for the Bills. 2nd and 4 at the 34-yard line. Nothing there for Mueller. And a big job by Doug Betters, number 75, and David Fry, 53. Fry really put the capper on him.
You called it correctly, Jay. Betters with a big play stuck him first at the line of scrimmage. Betters is in a fight to make this ball club. He did not play last year a lot. He was in on passing situations. He's in his 10th year. All the other linemen are young, and I think maybe the fact that Baumauer is not in camp or has not come in camp may help Betters make this club.
Out of the shotgun, Wright has to throw out to the sideline. Rob Riddick caught it, and then he took it from Judson out there, number 49. Riddick had to take it in, and Judson made a fine play.
Oh. Riddick is probably talking to himself right now. He says, if you're going to throw me the ball, don't throw it late, and don't throw a duck out there. Throw it to me early where I can run. By the time he got it, the defense had read it, and that's why he got hit just as he caught the football.
Kidd averaging 40.5 with his punts here tonight. Troy Stratford back to receive this one. And Stratford, coming way back, has to go to the 10. And he gets it out to the 17-yard line, and that's where the Dolphins will put it in play, as the tackle was made by Nate Odoms, number 37. It's a 54-yard punt. Kelso, 38, also down there. 6-yard return here. Here's that pass a moment ago, Bob, out into the flat. And Riddick took it, and then he was really stuck out there. Timeout as we come to the end of 3 quarters of play here at Joe Robbie Stadium. Miami 34, Buffalo 17. Travel arranged through Eastern Airlines, now serving Miami with nonstops to Lima and Caracas. Eastern, we've got your ticket to explore the splendor of South America. We go into the 4th quarter, but first let's go to Walt Gray.
Okay, Jay, as a matter of fact, I heard you talk about Joel Williams a little bit earlier. He just got his bell rung, and they've been trying to get him to walk a straight line, and he's all over the place, so evidently he'll be out for the game. Hugh Green is back on the sidelines in street clothes. He doesn't have any bandages on, but he does have a knee sprain and further evaluation tomorrow, so maybe then we'll get the final answer on that. Back to you.
And Williams right behind him there, kind of had his head down. He's got to be hurting a little bit. 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Lorenzo Hampton. Hampton near the 20. He was wrapped up by Jim Haslett, the 8-year veteran from little Indiana, Pennsylvania, number 55.
Jay, the other thing this will do, this game, the Dolphins playing very well as we take a look at Davenport isolated, making a nice block, is give them some momentum going into the first game of the season, and they'll need it up in New England because they've not played very well up in Foxborough the last 10 years.
Tough assignment to go up there and open up. Over the middle, complete. That's Fred Banks again. Banks has the first down out at the 34-yard line. Wayne Davis, number 21, on the tackle, and Strock is 5 for 5 passing, a pickup of 14. He is 5 for 5 for 66 yards since he came in to take over at quarterback.
Well, he's throwing smart passes, quick drops, not a lot of time, and he's very intelligent. He can pick the defense apart and throw the safe passes and move the ball club that way.
Davenport out of bounds. Davenport getting to the 40-yard line before Eugene Marv, number 54, and Jim Haslett, 55, made the stop. Davenport, who was born in Bermuda, only had carried the ball for 10 yards coming into tonight's play. Now in his 3rd year. Clock running with Well, let's see, clock stopped with 13:43 left to play. Second and 4 at the 41. Strock going long. Banks makes the catch. Oh, what a fine play by the second-year man. Fred Banks timed that beautifully against Wayne Davis. It's a pickup of 34 yards.
Take a look at man-to-man coverage, bump and run. This is what Strock will do. Throw a bunch of short ones, and then he throws the long one. A little bit underthrown, as you saw Banks, number one, seeing it all the way and slowing up and positioning his body between the ball and the defensive man to make the catch. Good call by Strock.
And Strock is still perfect in the passing department. First and 10 at the 25-yard line. 13 minutes to play. Davenport in trouble. Davenport is brought down. Leon Seals, number 96, and James Seawright, number 52, on the tackle for the Bills.
That secondary, Jay, that Strock is working against is 75% new. Three of the starters from last year have gone on to other teams. Carlos Romes, who was a fine corner for a long time, went to Kansas City. Steve Freeman, who was the brains of the secondary, is now at Minnesota. And Martin Bayless was just traded a couple of weeks ago to San Diego. So three of that four defensive backs are new.
Second down and 11. Davenport to about the 22-yard line. Marv, number 54, on the stop. Last year, on August 17th, down at the Orange Bowl, Miami won the preseason action 27-17. They also won at Buffalo later in the year, 34-24. And this year, the Bills will come back to Miami on Sunday, October 25th. Miami goes to Buffalo on November the 29th. It is third down and 7 at the 22. And Don Strock will operate from the shotgun. Strock throwing, going for it all. Incomplete, intending it for James Pruitt. The coverage by Mitchell, and a lot of the folks over in that quarter wanted an interference call.
Well, Strock knew it was a tough pass to complete. They had tight coverage on everyone. He threw it the only place he could. He had to release it. He threw it where his man could catch it or nobody was going to catch it. Take a look here as we'll see. There's no interference there unless it's on Pruitt for coming back and pushing, but that's just incidental. That's a good no call. So often we see them throw when they should, and that was a good time not to throw it.
A 40-yard field goal attempt. Quadreves misses this one. Well, earlier he had kicked them from 52 and 54. He misses this chip shot for him. Strock 6 out of 7 in the passing department, 104 yards and a touchdown. 11:19 remaining in this contest. Miami leads it 34-17. With Bob Greasy and Walt Gray, Jay Randolph at Joe Robbie Stadium. We talked early in the game about Stan Gelbaugh, the young quarterback playing on the special teams. Well, Bob, he'll now get a chance to run the offense. Gelbaugh, number 8, into the game.
It's a fine quarterback at Maryland, and you know, Kelly really did a lot for the Buffalo Bills. You know, he gave him a lot of money, but he also added about 30,000 per game to their attendance figures.
He sells tickets, doesn't he? He's the NFL's highest paid player, or was until some linebacker out of Oklahoma signed a contract here the other day. That's something, that Bosworth contract, where a man had never played a down before.
Unbelievable.
Ooh-wee. At last play, Ronnie Harmon, the second-year man from Iowa, carrying the ball out to the 26-yard line. First time we've seen Harmon carry the football. He's caught 7 passes for 74 yards. Picked up 4 at second down and 6. Harmon again, trying to get outside and did a decent job of it as he got over the 30-yard line. Run out of bounds over there by Thomas Strothers. Struthers out of Jackson State, number 92 in there at left end, playing for T.J. Turner. Turner had that shoulder problem earlier, but we have not been updated on his condition. 10:39 remaining in this football game, and Miami leading at 34-17. 3rd down and 2. Stan Gelbaugh, the quarterback, hands it over to Harmon. I don't think he got it. It's going to be close. He tried to go over the top, and David Fry was there to make the play, number 53. And we'll have to wait till they unravel it and see where they decide to spot it. Jerry Markbright heading up this crew, and they may want to measure. See if they're going to call it. No, they give him the first down. Well, he got it.
Jay, it's an interesting mixture of defensive players in there now for the Dolphins. You've got a lot of young